Hey guys, I'm Mike Berlin with Slam Car Wash Marketing. Thanks for joining us today at the Car Wash College. Look, we're going to talk through many different things with car wash marketing today, but most of all, I want you guys to feel like you can leave this class with at least a handful of things that you can take back to your wash tomorrow and help market it, drive more customers, and drive more sales. When we talk about marketing a car wash, I kind of split it up into two categories. We've got things that are outbound marketing, so that's things that we're doing out in the community, ads that we're running, stuff like that, and we're driving people back to the property. And then we have things that we're doing on site. What are we doing on site to educate the customers and maybe drive them to a higher ticket price? So as a quick exercise, normally when we're in class, we would go around the room and make a list of things that you think that y'all are doing right now at your wash to drive more traffic, or what are some things you're doing that are outbound marketing, driving more people to the property? And make yourself a list, all the things that you think you're doing now, and make a list to the right side of the page for on-site marketing, things we're doing in the tunnel, things we're doing on property, signage, those kinds of stuff. So take a minute and make yourself a list. Okay, so I did this and I made myself a list here. So typically when we're working with customers, some things we're doing, Facebook, YouTube ads. It's still one of the greatest platforms out there for brand awareness and buying cheap impressions. You can consider social media, things you do on your website. Your Google My Business page is huge. We'll talk a lot about Google. I'm kind of a Google nerd. Direct mail, billboards, those kinds of things. Spotify, terrestrial radio, if you've got a small town and a good radio station, local sponsorships, things like that. Things that we can do on site is a killer pay station video or custom screens to help the customer navigate through. Perhaps you've got an LED menu and you need maybe some better signage. Or, I consider the tunnel bling, the foam and the light show, I consider that to be marketing. Your wash performance, is your chemistry dialed in right? Are you getting the back glass of that car clean? Those are all things that once a customer comes on site, it's going to help keep them coming back. Do you have somebody patrolling the vacuum area, like a manager? A great idea a lot of our operators do is they'll staff somebody at the back end of the wash, so in the vacuum area, with like an apron from Home Depot, right? And you load it up with doggy treats, lollipops, review cards, and rat cards, right? So you got a rat card for anybody that's brand new, and you say, hey, thanks for coming in. I hope you enjoyed the wash today. Was it cool? Yeah, cool. Hey, did you know if you come more than twice a month, you'd save by joining our unlimited plan? Here's the information, right? So you're educating them, and you're selling them on the unlimited plan after they've come through the wash and experienced how cool it is. If you notice they're a member, maybe you're still on RFID stickers. Hey, thanks for coming in. I'm glad you're a member. Look, would you mind giving us a review? We really depend on reviews in our business. It would mean a lot to us. You can scan this QR code and give us a review. Or if they just got a carload of kids, give them lollipops. If they got a dog in the car, give them a doggy treat, right? Unlimited sales program and training. So a lot of people are for selling at the pay station. Some people are for letting the pay station sell for themselves. That's another marketing tactic on property. A VIP lane. I see a lot of folks dedicating their third pay station lane to the VIP lane. That's a big deal. On-site radio, a membership kiosk, a referral program. Those are some of the things that I thought of and we put together in our list of things that you can do on-site. So here's a quick agenda for today. We've got Google My Biz. I think it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the easiest thing that you can go do right now to help improve your sales and your awareness in the community. We're going to talk a little bit about what you can do on your website to improve your Google ranking. We'll hit on reviews. I know that's kind of a controversial topic in our industry. I'll tell you on Facebook and Instagram, sort of my favorite playbook right now. I'll tell you a couple secrets about YouTube ads. We'll hit on email and texting, social media, and kind of a recipe or kind of a template that I use on social media. And then we'll do a little Q&A on some old school advertising. Google My Business, it's the hottest, most direct thing that we can do right now to drive people to our car wash. So let's start off here real quick and let's do an exercise. Normally I would do this in class. I want you to get your phone out and I want you to open up Google Maps and I want you to kind of hover over the area of your wash. So find out, type in your wash's address, navigate to that on the map, and then Zoom out to where you think it's about a 3-5 mile radius, right? Because we know in the express business, people really aren't going to drive more than about 3 to 5 miles to get to your wash. So I'm trying to, this is kind of like, I'm from Louisiana, right? So this is my Cajun SEO, this is my Cajun search ranking tool that you can do real quick. So zoom in to about a 3 to 5 mile radius on the map around your wash and just type in the words car space wash. Not car wash, all one word. That's a word that we invented in the industry. The consumer, when they're looking for a car wash, research shows us that they're going to type in car space wash, free vacuums, best car wash in town, things like that. So what's going to happen when you're on the map and you're going to zoom in, you're going to punch in car space wash, it's going to show you a list of people, a list of washes, right? And the whole goal in that is to be in that top 3. They call it a snack pack. That top 3, what we see is most people don't go past that top 3. So the mission is to get into that top 3 of the list, right? Now, why is this so hot? Because we have someone in our area, in a 3 mile radius, actively looking for a car wash. Man, I want to be first on that list, right? It's a fewer number of people. We see that, there is a finite number of people in your area this Saturday searching for a car wash. But gosh, it's a smaller number, but it's a hot audience. Those are hot leads. How do we get in front of those people? Well, we'll talk about Google My Business and what you can do here, and we'll talk about what you can do on your website to help improve your Google ranking. But if you can get them to the top 3, the consumers in that consideration phase, right? What they're doing is they're going through what we call sort of a consumer journey, and that journey in other industries may take several days, several weeks, right? Let's pretend that you're in the market to buy a car. You're first going to start your journey by going to the Jeep website. I'm a Jeep nerd. I've got a Jeep Wrangler, right? So if I'm looking at Jeeps, I'm going to just start looking at the Jeep website and checking out the new Gladiator. And then I'm going to start looking at pictures, and I'm starting to sell myself. And then I may look at the local dealership to see what kind of inventory they have. And then I may look at a financial calculator to see what my payment would be. You can kind of understand that there's a consumer journey that happens before someone buys something. In our world, in the express car wash world, we still have a consumer journey, but it happens in 15 seconds. It happens on their phone, say on a Saturday afternoon. Last weekend, I'm waiting for my wife to come out of CVS, right? And she's in the store, and I'm sitting in the parking lot. I'm like, man, the next thing I got to do is go get the car wash. Who is the best car wash in town? And I punch in best car wash in town. It pulls up 3 people. I go, huh. I click on it. I look at a few pictures. I'm like, is this place new? Does it look good? Are there smiling, happy people on the pictures? I can see their menu. I can see they've got a wash at $10. I got a promotion right now that I see. They're running a coupon, and if I text in right now, I get a deal. So that consideration phase is happening real fast on my phone. I'm sitting there in the car doing it. It happens in 15 seconds or so, and I'm essentially trying to decide which of these car washes is going to make me happier. Is this car wash going to make me happier than the one down the street? You can kind of see how Google My Business is so important, because all of that consideration that I just talked about happened on Google My Business. So what can we do to optimize our Google My Business listing? We'll talk through that. The other thing is logging in, claiming your Google My Business page, filling it up full of pictures, fully loading it up with your menu and all the information. It's free. You can go do that right now. So jump all over Google My Business. Here's an example of why this is so important. So here's one where you've got your name, address, phone number. We're going to talk about the NAP quite a bit. You've got store hours. Man, I can't tell you how many people during COVID would have different store hours for obvious reasons, right? But they wouldn't go updated on Google My Business. That gives a negative rub point with the consumer. So go in there and check and update your Google My Business listing. The other thing that Google wants to see, besides the consumer experience, right? So we have what the consumer is seeing on that profile of yours. There's some things that the Google bots are also looking for to try to decide who's going to rank the highest on Google. They're looking for pictures, and you know, with their AI technology, they can tell whether it's a picture of the inside somewhere, of the outside of a business. They can even see faces, right? So they want to see a good representation of your business. So I recommend getting pictures of the outside of the wash, the inside of the wash, maybe a group shot of your whole crew smiling, happy, a shot of somebody in the car experiencing how awesome, you know, your foam and light show is. Get a shot of your menu. So get a whole variety of pictures. You wouldn't believe how many really big car washes I see, and I'll go on their Google page, and they still have the pictures under construction. Like they're open, right? And the picture on the home page of their Google My Business listing is a forklift and a pallet where we were still installing equipment. The other thing I see is operators who build this amazing car wash and building. They have these beautiful drone shots of a rooftop. You know, I always laugh and say that like buildings and roofs and all that kind of stuff is cool to us in the car wash industry because we poured our heart and soul for 2 years into building this thing. The consumer doesn't care about, you know, what the building looks like, you know, really. So make sure you got shots and pictures in there that are showing happy customers experiencing the free vacs or experiencing the mat washer or using the bottle and towel service that you have, those kinds of things. Another thing you want to make sure you've got a few sentences in your About Us copy. So that's 2 or 3 sentences in your listing that is your official 2 to 3 sentence description of who you are as a car wash. A couple things I want you to do is make sure you include your business category name according to Google. So Google considers us a car wash, not an auto spa, not any other fun ways that we come to, you know, label ourselves. It's car space wash. Even if our business is called Mike's Auto Spa, in my About Us copy, I want to make sure Mike's Auto Spa is the best car wash in Asheville, North Carolina. Now I'm saying Asheville, North Carolina because I want to make sure that I have my service area in my About Us copy, right? That's another thing that Google's going to look for and help improve our ranking. Business name, service area in your About Us copy. I would also put your menu of services up there. You can load up your menu so that people can, you know, go through that consideration phase right there on their phone and see your menu. You know, back in the day, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, the name of the game was to, you know, improve your Google ranking so that when somebody searched for a car wash, they clicked on it and they immediately went to our website. And so we had to build these awesome websites so that we could give all the information there. What's happening is that Google is trying to keep the user experience on their platform, right? They don't really want the user to go off of Google and onto your website. It sounds kind of crazy. But you think about Google's business is tracking all of us and tracking all of our movements and clicks and decisions, right? They want to keep them on the platform. So they want you to use all these tools with Google My Business, and they want you to provide all the information that a consumer might need to make that decision right there on Google My Business. The other thing that's happening is post, right? You know, Google My Business used to be called Google Business Maps. They had several different names for this thing, and it's kind of evolved. But recently, they're encouraging us to put weekly posts and updates, almost like it's trying to become another social media platform. I think they're trying to almost compete with Facebook. So I would suggest to you to post to your Google My Business page weekly, just like you would Facebook or Instagram. Now, reviews. When we were talking earlier about this consumer journey, and I'm sitting there in the parking lot at CVS trying to find the best car wash in town, I'm going to look, as a consumer, I'm going to look at some pictures, right? And then the next thing I'm going to do is check out your star rating and look at a couple reviews. Google is now tracking how fast we respond to reviews as a component of how, it's a determining factor as to how you rank on Google. So make sure you are responding to every review, even the positive ones, with a quick, hey, thanks. And make sure you do that every day, right? There's also a section on there for events. So if you're doing like a Wacky Wednesday or you're doing something fun for, Halloween, Scary Tunnel, something like that, post that up there. And then obviously a link to your website. Just as an example, this is what it looks like when you put your car wash menu loaded up on Google My Business. And from the user standpoint on your phone, it's literally like a swipe away, right? So in one swipe, I can see the full menu. And then you see here where we've got a deal. Here's an instance where we had a customer that wanted to put in a deal so we could track, right? So we wanted to track, we're putting all this effort into Google My Business. What traffic are we getting from the wash? And we'll talk about this a little bit later with advertising when we get into that. But one of the great things about keeping the user on Google My Business is that when they hit that navigate to wash button, we can track that. And so we know how many people saw our ad or saw our listing, then clicked our profile and looked at our pictures and then clicked that navigation button and came to our wash, right? And so if we know someone's driving to our wash, we know our average ticket price is $14 and we had 100 people this week come to the wash, then we know $1,400 worth of people came to our wash. It's a super easy way to sort of track the return on your investment or a conversion value like that. So Bob usually picks on me. I am kind of a Google nerd, right? I think he kind of just glazes over sometimes when I talk about Google ranking and blah, blah, blah. The reason Google ranking is important to me is so that when someone is in my area and they're actively looking for a car wash, they find us first. That's the whole name of the game, right? Here's a little trick to help increase your Google ranking. This is about geotagging your images that you put on your Google My Business page, or geotag the images that you put on your website. So you can use this little tool, take your pictures, add this EXIF tag, which is basically latitude and longitude, and it's telling Google, hey, this picture actually came from, in fact, this location. It's just another little thing that helps Google know that you are a legitimate business, you have lots of pictures, they actually came from your property, and it's a little positive mark on your Google ranking. We're gonna go through a few things like this that are kind of little nuanced things, kind of nerdy things that may not change the world in your marketing, but there's slightly little things that all kind of compound together that actually help move the ticker. Here's a couple things that you can do and want to make sure you check for on your website. We talk about what you can do on Google My Business to help improve your Google ranking so people find you first. Now I'm talking about what are you going to do on your website to make sure that it ranks high and it helps you with your local search ranking, is what they call it. Local SEO is what we're talking about. Number one, you got to make sure it's mobile friendly. No one's sitting at night on their laptop searching for the car wash in town. Like I'm not searching for a car wash in planning to go to the car wash tomorrow. I'm not doing that. It's an impulse search on your phone. You got to make sure your website's mobile friendly. You got to have a fast page load speed. That's another thing that Google tracks to see how fast your page comes up. So when we're building websites, we're constantly optimizing those pages for faster load speeds. Kind of a funny story is I built a website right before a trade show and I did it in Wix, and I'm a video nerd at heart, and I loaded up with all this cool video, and the page load speed was crazy low. And I'll show you here in a minute how to check for that. Your H1 tags, that's kind of nerd speak for your header. So your header, you want to make sure in your header here we've got your business name and your location. You see it says, welcome to Sonic Suds Express Car Wash of Greenville, South Carolina. Sometimes it's a little odd, like I may even try to write something different there, but to appease sort of the Google beast, to make sure we're getting a positive mark, I'm going to make sure that header tag has my business name, the category name, and the location in which we serve. Here's a little thing you can do to test your website for mobile friendly. So you can actually just Google mobile friendly test console. It pulls up a screen, you type in your web address, and it'll give you a score, just like this. This was the page that didn't score very well for me. Since then, I've had my crew help me build a real site, not the one that I built in Wix, and we score a lot better. But this was a page that wasn't very mobile friendly. The other thing you can do on your website to help improve your Google ranking is embed a YouTube video on the homepage. Now, you put a YouTube video on your homepage and you're like, what's that got to do with Google ranking? Well, Google owns YouTube and they want to see you sort of cross leverage their products, right? So you make a little short video about the math behind your VIP or your unlimited club and how much value it is and how it makes sense. Or maybe it's a video that's like, hey, here's how this works. You drive in, you pay the pay station, you enjoy the wash, you come through, free vax, whatever. Make yourself a short video and name the video that you upload to YouTube, the name of your business, the category name, car wash, and the address exactly copy and paste it as it is on Google My Business. So you can start to see some trends here, right? We're trying to say, this business name does this, we're a car wash, and we are located here. And we're giving Google all of these cues, even with a video like this. So this video on your homepage, it's embedded and it's on YouTube. It's a good user experience, right? So you go to your website, you're scrolling through, you see a video's gonna cause the person to hang a little bit longer on your website, gather some information. Nobody reads anymore, right? But it also is a positive mark, another little positive mark for your Google ranking. What you put in your footer is also kind of a big deal. In the footer of a website, you wanna make sure you put, again, your name of your business, your category name, the city, and also the address and hours that are exactly copied from Google My Business. This is kind of a crucial thing here because a lot of times people will take their address and they write it on Google My Business as, let's see, what is this example? Military Trail, TRL, right? It's an abbreviation, makes sense. But they might spell it out on Facebook, TRAIL, and on Google My Business, it's TRL period. The Google bots, right, they all see that as inconsistencies and it's kind of a little negative mark. What I like to do is whatever we put on Google My Business, I copy and paste that on Facebook, on Instagram, on local directories. Anywhere we list our address from now on, it's exactly copy and pasted as it is on Google My Business. And I use that as like the main point, right? Same with your store hours. On your website, you might list out Monday through Saturday, 7 to 8 p.m. or something like that. But on Google, it's listed out individually. I would make sure it's listed out exactly as it is on Google My Business. Another thing I see on people's websites is the map, right? The whole point of the website is to educate them and get them to come to our wash, right? So you get a graphic designer and somebody's designing a website and they want to design a really stylized map. I mean, we've been beat into us about how branding is important and we should style everything to our own colors and fonts. And so we build this beautiful map in our brand colors, and it doesn't really help us on Google's point of view. What we really want to do is take a Google map, another Google product, and embed that Google map, right? So we want to embed that Google map on our page and give them directions and all that kind of stuff, but use their product instead of create a beautiful map of our own. Now, one of the things that is another sort of positive cue with improving our Google ranking is they call it local citations or website citations. Now, since this, we've actually created a product called Sync, and the whole purpose of Sync is to solve this problem or to help you improve your Google ranking. What Google wants to see is your name, address, phone number, store hours, your really important business information. They want to see it in lock sync across the web in a bunch of different places. And so the idea is if all of our information across the web, everywhere it's listed, is super consistent, Google sort of sees us as a little more legit business and they rank us a little higher. So it's a huge pain in the butt to sit and copy and paste across all these different places, and there's human error. So basically we invented a piece of software, you load it all in one time and it pushes it all out, and it basically helps improve your Google ranking. We call it Sync because it's syncing your business data across all these different places. Another byproduct of Sync that we'll talk about in a little bit is that since you've got all these accounts connected to it, those reviews will funnel into one spot and make it easier to respond to reviews. But as far as the local citations are concerned, either if you're going to use Sync or use some other piece of software or do it manually, you just want to make sure that all of your name, address, phone number, your NAP, and your business information is in sync across the web, and you want it to match your Google My Business page. All right, so my next section that we're rolling into is reviews. I kind of have to be real here. Like, I'm a review nerd and I study reviews all the time, and I can't believe how rough the general public is on car washing. Like, I look at restaurants and other businesses, and no one is as sort of angry and hateful sometimes as they are on car washing. When my brother and I were starting Slam, we were like, man, we don't want to get into the review business. You know, it's just this touchy thing. And what kind of changed my mind and made us kind of get into this business of reviews was when Google started measuring how fast we respond to reviews. Then it became a ranking factor. That's when I was like, okay, we need to develop a tool to make this easier for people. And so that's when we kind of started building Sync and making it a tool that makes it easier to respond to reviews. But so reviews are kind of a thing in the car wash business. I love this quote from Anthony that says, if you're not happy, please tell us, and if you are happy, please tell others, right? If you're out there trying to buy, I don't know, like a new tool, right? I'm looking at some tool and I see it for sale at Harbor Freight, and I know it's sort of a cheap Chinese knockoff. I look it up on Amazon and see what the reviews are. And I know that every now and then there's going to be some person that's just having a bad day and that they're just a crazy person. You can read the review and you see it's a 1-star and this person's just generally pissed off, and you sort of discount that review. But if you see somebody and like 5 or 6 people give it a 4-star and they all complain about the battery or this little thing that broke off the drill, then you kind of know, all right, that's probably a legit thing. Our consumers these days are really review driven. It has become kind of a bigger focus for me and for marketing in general. I think the Amazon revolution has trained everybody to pay more attention to reviews. And honestly, we're all making it so much easier for consumers to give us a review that everybody's giving more reviews. How do we go get more reviews? A kind of an old school study that was done back in the day, and it involves a copy machine, so it'll tell you how old this is. But they did this study where they had people stand in line at an office building and wait in line to use the copy machine. Must have been like the 70s or 80s or something. So they have all these people waiting in line to use the copy machine, and when the person gave a legitimate answer, a legitimate reason as like, hey, can I skip to the front of the line? And they gave a real reason. 94% of the time, people let them skip to the front of the line. What they saw was that even if they gave sort of a BS reason, not even a real reason, 93% of the time they let them skip to the front of the line. And so they only let them skip 60% of the time if they gave no reason. So you're probably thinking like, dude, what are you talking about? Where are you going with this? I say all this because when we're trying to get someone to give us a review, you have to give them a reason. Like, you have to make it easy for them, put a review card together with a QR code that goes right to Google, right? And then you have to look them square in the eyes and say, man, I'm so glad you came today. You know, our business really depends on reviews. Would you mind take 2 seconds, scan this card and give us a review? We're so glad you're here. And when you give them a reason, they're going to do it. When you make it easy on them, they're going to give you a review. If you just put a sign up that says, leave us a review, whatever, right? They're not, maybe. But when you look somebody in the eyes and you give them a reason, like this little study, they'll do it. Here's a quick tool to make it easy on them. So you can go here to this web address and it will give you the link like directly to your Google My Business listing. And I know you can leave reviews on Facebook and Yelp and all these places. I mean, if Google is going to be in charge of our fate and future on ranking, I want all my reviews if I can control it on Google, right? So if I'm going to ask somebody to give us a review, I'm saying, please give me a review on Google. So you can make a card, and you go to this link. Now this is a big long link they're gonna give you. So you take that link and you go to a QR generator and you make a QR code. Everybody knows how to use QR codes now after COVID, right? I mean, the COVID QR code menu drama, that's like the most helpful thing that could have had happen to us in the marketing world. We have now trained everybody how to use QR codes again. So you make a QR code and you give them a reason, you hand them the card, and you ask them for that review. The other thing is when you're a brand new wash, people are like, how do we go get reviews? Man, just go get all your friends and family and your church and your neighbors and everybody you know to come through the car wash and ask them, give them that card. Man, thanks for coming. Would you give us a review? Because when you start out a wash, there's like a race to get to 1,800, 2,000 members, right? All of this stuff helps get you there. All of these little things that you can do to help improve your Google ranking and get more reviews and get more 5-star ratings, all of this stuff helps. So go out there and make it easy on people and ask them to do it. I see a lot of people open a brand new car wash and, like for the first few days or the first week even sometimes, they'll do free car washes and they'll high five and smile and let all these people come through their wash and they don't get a phone number from them. They don't get a review. It's just like, man, what a wasted opportunity. So if you're gonna do a grand opening free wash or free something, grab their phone number at least, give them a review card while they're happy. Who doesn't like a free car wash, right? Your best chance to get a 5-star review out of somebody is when you gave them a free car wash. The second part of reviews, so we talked about how do I go out and get reviews. Now we're talking about how do we respond to reviews. I always say try to respond to reviews every day because I know that Google's timing us. Now, it's not a huge deal. Like, let's say you take a couple days to respond. It's fine, right? But you go a week or 2 weeks, or some cases people I've met never, ever, it'll start to, be negative points and start to reduce your Google ranking. The other thing is I have some folks that don't respond to positive reviews. They'll tell me, it looks kind of robotic. I mean, the guy said 5-star review. Isn't that cool enough? Well, it was a 5-star review and it's cool, but for Google's sake, just say, hey man, thanks for the 5-star review. I'll let the crew know we're rocking, some kind of acknowledgement, right? It sort of thanks the customer for taking a minute and giving us a review, but it also appeases the Google beast. So on responding to reviews, obviously respond quick. Respond to all of them, the good ones and the bad ones. And then on the bad reviews, it's all about taking them offline as quick as you can. Don't feel like this is a one-on-one response to their comment, even if they're right or wrong, or we didn't scratch their car, or they're crazy, or that guy comes in all the time and he always says, whatever it is, right? This is your chance to have sort of a public marketing stage, an announcement, right? So you want to show the rest of the world that you're staying engaged with your customer, that you care, that even the folks that are a little bit out there, you're still responding to and you're still paying attention to them. When I was looking for that drill from Harbor Freight and I saw a couple of negative reviews, when I saw the manufacturer saying, hey, we're sorry about that battery thing, blah, 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 I'm like, all right, cool. This is a reputable company. This isn't, some sketchy company that just dropped off a shipping container full of drills. So what you're doing by responding to them is you're making a public announcement to everybody else that, hey, we are responsible. We're having a conversation with our customers. Taking them offline is just, every time you reply back and you respond back and forth with a customer, it's kind of putting that review back at the top of the list. So I would respond one time, hey, we're really sorry this happened. Sorry that you're not happy, whatever. I'm not admitting guilt. I'm not saying that we did something wrong. I'm just saying, sorry you didn't have a great experience. That's not what we're shooting for. Please give us a call or send us an email so we can take care of this. And so you're telling everybody else I'm handling stuff. You're giving them a chance to reach out to you directly. The other big thing I've seen some really good operators do is they've got managers walk in that vacuum area. They could have that apron on. They could be selling, but they're also reading body language. What I'm talking about are those people that are sort of mildly not happy, that might escalate once they get in the car. Walk around and read body language and go address those people before they leave property, because you have a chance right there on property to turn it around. But once they leave, you guys all know they get real bold and miney behind the keyboard. When we talk about advertising at Slam, we think of it kind of as a funnel. We go back to that customer journey. You know, if you've ever been in sales, you kind of know the idea of a sales funnel. You're trying to nurture somebody through that funnel. And I mean, at the top of the funnel, they're in that awareness phase. You're trying to make someone aware of your car wash brand, aware that you're in town, make sure they hear your name and see your name a whole lot of times. And we can do that very well on Facebook and Instagram. Midway through the funnel, those are those people that now have started thinking about car washing. They've maybe seen your ad on Facebook all throughout the week while they're laying in bed, and here it is on Saturday morning, and they're checking off their to-do list, and they need a car wash. They search for car wash, and lo and behold, we have also paid for some Google and Waze ads, and there we are, bought our way to the top of the list. That's sort of mid-funnel advertising that we do. And then at the bottom of that funnel, that's that conversion zone. That's up to you guys, right? So that's making sure you got a killer pay station experience. You got videos, you got the LED menu, you got somebody standing there on property, smiling, waving, you know, giving them a salute, thumbs up, whatever, right? They come through the car wash, all the equipment is perfect, the foam, the lights, they come around, they're vacuuming, the vacuums all work, they're not clogged up, and lo and behold, somebody comes and says, hey, would you like to join the unlimited plan, right? That's the conversion zone. It's really a partnership if you want to move the ticker in sales. So when we talk about the funnel, how do we fill the top of the funnel? Digital ad nerd that I am, we fill it with Facebook and Instagram. It's still the cheapest place for reach and impressions that you can come up with. So one of the things I want to make sure we're on the same page is impression versus reach. A reach is unique people, right? So if I run an ad on Facebook and let's say I'm in front of 100,000, I get 100,000 impressions, it's spread across 40,000 people. So we know that someone needs to see an ad 3 or 4 times before they really kind of see it, right? And then there's a sweet spot. So we go from 0 to seeing it a few times and kind of actually, you know, remembering it. And then you show it to them too many times and it's called ad fatigue and they get worn out and they're tired of seeing the ad, right? So that's why we're really keen in and want to make sure we know the difference between impressions and reach. When we're talking about Facebook ads, it's an incredible platform for, I think, top of the funnel brand awareness play. It used to be really good for the top and the middle of the funnel, but not so much anymore. And Google and Waze do such a better job that we really use Facebook and Instagram for top of the funnel. What are we after with top of the funnel? Really, we're buying impressions. We're buying eyeballs, right? We're trying, what's the cheapest way I can just blast my 3-mile radius and get as many people to know about my car wash? And what are we after? We're after video views, likes, comments, shares, engagement, right? So we monitor engagement very heavily because Facebook is sort of an elective ad platform. When I say elective, I mean like it's not disruptive advertising like TV commercials or YouTube commercials, right? It's something that I have to scroll while I'm trying to be entertained and then decide that I'm so intrigued by this video or this ad that I'm going to click on it and watch it or turn the sound on and sort of, frankly, ingest our propaganda to them, right? So the name of the game in the ad creative on Facebook is really tricky. Here's something that you can do right now that's super easy that is kind of my favorite playbook on Facebook ads. So a lot of us have email addresses or phone numbers for our members. And we're like, this is cool. We always have our marketing nerd people tell us to always capture, contact information for our customers. So we do. What do we do with it? Well, what you can do here is take that list of, let's say you got 5,000 customer list of email addresses. You can load it into Facebook and tell Facebook, here is a big list of people. I want you to go build me a lookalike audience, meaning I want you to go find me 500,000 other people that share the same type of attributes as these folks, which are our members or our customers or people that have signed up for our mailing list. It will build a new audience of people that look just like those people. Because Facebook monitors like 400 something data points on all of us. And it will also let us layer over a geofence or a geo-target of those people. So you take your members, you load it into Facebook, you build a lookalike audience, then you layer on top of that a 5-mile radius, and you serve ads to those people. Because we know those people are in our area and they have shown some sort of engagement with us before. It's a way to build yourself a little bit hotter audience to serve ads to. This is something you can do right inside your Facebook ad manager. We think it's easy. If you have trouble, obviously you can call us, but it's something that you can do right inside your own Facebook page. One of the things I like to do is I like to make an ad and have it have a code because I like to track and measure everything. Measure how many times we serve the ad to people, how many times people clicked on the ad, how many times people went to the landing page, and then how many times those codes actually came back to our pay station. That funnel right there will tell you a lot of good information. I would say maybe the most important thing that we do is geo-target our advertising. Quick little story is we had a customer that we were running in South Florida. We were running some Google ads for. And we watched these ads and the ad spend and the pay-per-click rates every day. And all of a sudden we started seeing the rates go up and we're like, what's going on? Lo and behold, we had someone competing against us for those same keywords. And we looked it up and it was a car wash out in Houston. And I'm like, why are y'all buying keywords in South Florida if your car wash is in Houston? They just didn't really know what they were doing. And we called them and told them, hey, look, you get over in your turf. That way you stop messing up our ad spend. They were really grateful because they were spending a ton of money on their campaign and didn't realize that they were blasting all over the whole country. So the number one thing to always think about is targeting, and your biggest filter is your geographic area around your wash. This is a quick tool that you can use, again, right inside Facebook. So you don't need any kind of crazy ad tech for this, but you can place an ad right inside Facebook. The user can see your ad, click, give some information like your name or email address or something like that, and then get the code emailed back to them right inside Facebook. You don't need a MailChimp setup or anything like that. It's a good little way that you can kind of test out some ads and divvy out some codes and collect email addresses right built inside Facebook. All right, let's talk about YouTube. I love YouTube at the top of the funnel because it's video-based ads and they're so much richer. Like you can tell a really good story. Now, a cool fact that not a lot of people realize is that when we run ads on YouTube, we're running TrueView in-stream skippable ads. You guys know what ads I'm talking about. These are when you're trying to watch something fun, you got to wait for 5 seconds, and you're sitting there counting down 5, 4, we're ready for this, and you're waiting to click the skip button, right? That 5 seconds is still 5 seconds, right? I still had a chance to play an ad for you. The cool part on YouTube is if you skip that ad in 5 seconds and you don't play the whole 30 seconds, I don't get charged for showing that ad to you. I only get charged if you watch the whole 30 seconds. So it's a place to get a whole lot of cheap, free impressions, right? Granted, they're only 5 seconds because I know all y'all are gonna skip the ad, or a lot of people, right? So basically, going into that situation, I just write the ad so that I get my deal, I get my point across in those first 5 seconds. And that way, even if you skip it, I still got my message across and I got a free ad placement. Now, Google Ads is a little bit more complicated, but you run YouTube ads out of the Google Ads dashboard, and this is kind of what that looks like. All right, next up is email and texting. One of the things you can do is run a Facebook ad and ask people to click it and give you your email, or send us a text for a deal. Fill out the form, the old thing, and we'll send you back a coupon. Collecting email addresses and phone numbers, number one, it's our way to communicate with our customer. Whether they're a member, we need email address or phone number to sort of administer this relationship that we have, or We are collecting text and phone numbers so we can text you later right out of the back office. Social media is something that kind of gets used incorrectly a lot. We have some customers, when they come to us, they tell us, hey, look, I'm not really getting any performance out of my social media. Your organic social media, you may not get a lot of performance in sales. Organic social media, in my mind, is not something that's just going to like skyrocket and move the ticker on sales, right? But it's something that's like the slow climb. It's the marathon race, right? What you're trying to do on organic social media is slowly build a following and give people reasons to check back with you and sort of stay top of mind of the people that are already engaged with you. What's always surprising to people is they think that if I post something on my social media feed, all of my followers are going to see it. It's super humbling, I guess, or it's kind of almost depressing to think that, like, if I've got 100 followers and I put something on my feed today and I hit post, maybe 30% of my followers are going to see it. Facebook is more and more asking us to pay to play. That's what that little blue button down there is, to boost a post. They want you to pay to push it out to all your followers, or pay to push it out to maybe more than your followers, right? Bonding with and becoming a raving fan of a car wash on social media is a challenge. It's a task. It's not like we're Nike or we're Vans or we're Tesla running our social media feed. It's a car wash. Let's just be real, right? So what can we do to make people kind of engage with us? Because the name of the game with social media is engagement. We put posts out there and it may look gorgeous. It may be a beautiful piece of artwork, but no one engages with it. So here's kind of a little recipe that my crew likes to use as a template or a guide, right? Is don't oversell always on social media, right? Mix up the content on your feed. So I always like to think of it like, hey, let's post something about our crew or our team or our advancements, right? It makes people feel warm and fuzzy that you're investing in your team and your crew. One of the people that I really like to follow, they're not a customer, but I like to follow them on social media because they do a very good job, is Mr. Car Wash. And I started noticing every time Mr. puts a picture on social media, there's always like 5 or 6 people. They love group shots. And I'm like, man, what's that all about? And it dawned on me that every one of those 6 kids in that picture has 5 aunts and uncles and mamas and friends that all see, oh, there's my kid or there's somebody. And they got that much more engagement out of it. So if you post a picture of a solo person, hey, here's Mike Bruley, works at the car wash, whatever, right? 10 people. You post a picture of 4 people, now you got 40 people, right? So I like using lots of faces. We also see when we, on our team, when we study, anytime you show a face, a smiling face of a person, more engagement. I think it's funny that car wash people, car wash nerds, and I put myself in that category, I love to see cars underneath the foam and the lights. And I know we all work really hard on our foam sheet, like to make it perfect. That's cool. But a lot of times people want to see faces. They want to see people. You want to put shots of your crew, the people that the customer's going to see when they come on property. Oh, that's the guy that I saw on social media, whatever, right? Even if it's a shot of a customer, make sure it's a shot of people and faces and customers enjoying the car wash. I like shots of cars and foam and lights too. Mix that in a little bit, but don't just do cool cars in the tunnel, right? So something about the crew, something about the community. Anytime you got Boy Scouts or you talk to the local coaches, one of the things we try to do right when we get a new customer is we want to know every preacher, every high school football coach, everybody in town that is kind of an influencer. Who are all the people we need to know? Because we want to also be talking about, what football team won this week, stuff like that. Something about the crew, something about the community. Every third post, maybe we lob in an offer, a deal, a code. Don't overdo it on selling on organic social media. We can run ads, independent from your timeline. But, every now and then lob in an offer. Then maybe throw something up there about the environment. We all reclaiming water, right? Let's get some credit for all this goodness that we're doing. I mean, take a picture of the reclaim tank, or it could be some other just big tank in the back room. The consumer doesn't know, right? Here's a big giant tank. Can anybody guess how many gallons of water we reclaim every week? Whoever gets the closest wins a prize, right? Now I have, you've given me some reason to care. You've given me a reason to sort of interact and engage with the post, but also you're kind of like a subtle brag. You're saying, hey, we reclaim water, we're good for the environment. The customer, every few posts, throw something about a customer. Do you know why that old guy has that Corvette? He only bought the Corvette so that you would walk up to him and tell him, man, that's a cool car. That's why those guys have those cars, right? So that people will recognize that they have a cool car. Go up to him and tell him, man, this is an awesome car. Man, I'm so glad you're here. Do you mind if I take a selfie with you? Selfie with the customer in the car. It's like it's great social media posts, right? Because now he's going to be so proud, and all his other Corvette Car Club friends are all going to be like the post, because there's Bob with his 50-something Corvette, whatever, and then there you are, and you're subtly telling the public, hey, we are friends and we bond with our customers, and people have fun here. Come over here because we're cool. So crew, community, an offer, environmental, something with a customer, and then the wild card. Wild card, I kind of call the wild card, could be anything. Has anybody ever seen Car Wash Karaoke? Mark 1 Car Wash. This is Marcus Cottrell. His guys put together Car Wash Karaoke. If you think about it, a car wash is about 3 minutes. A song's about 3 minutes. It's fantastic. I mean, you turn up the radio, you put the phone on there, you record it, you run some kind of contest. It's funny. People like it. It's a good wild card. Another one is Cardinal Auto Wash. These guys do a straight up lottery, right? They go Facebook Live, he spins the wheel, he gets on the phone and he calls the winner. Hey, guess what? So-and-so who lives down the street in the neighborhood, you just won $7,000. Like, that's huge. Everybody in town is watching this guy's live feed on Wednesday night to see if they're the winner. Think about things in your social media feed that give somebody a reason to care. There's a great book out there called Contagious. The book talks about what makes things go viral and why do people engage with things on social media, and why do some things sort of take off and some things don't. And he talks a lot about this thing called social currency. Social currency is anything that makes me kind of look cool. Like you see people like go to a fancy restaurant and take a picture of food and they say, oh, I'm at the fancy restaurant. It's just to make them tell everybody that I'm at the fancy restaurant. Does it make me look cool? Or there's a couple local radio stations that I really watch that have lots of fun, engaging posts. And they'll post funny things that like entice you to be funny with a comment. Looking cool or being funny or maybe sharing something that's helpful to others. Those are all things that have lots of social currency and they become contagious. That's the idea. It's a great book to check out. That's my sort of recipe, I guess, or template for a good social media feed. Don't overdo the selling and mix in lots of faces and customers and people and stuff like that. All right, so the next section is, in class, we would normally kind of go around the room and talk about some of the I call them old school things that people are doing to market. There's still a lot of great value in billboards if they're in the right spot. There's still a lot of value in some good direct mail if you're in the right market. And I really like local radio if you're not a suburb in a giant town, right? Let's say you're in the outskirts of Chicago. I'm not trying to buy all of Chicago radio DMA just because remember, we're geo-targeting, we're talking to our neighborhood, we're talking to our 5-mile radius. I really only want to buy this. So if I've got to buy and spend big bucks on Chicago radio to get my area, I'm probably not going to do that. But if there's a local radio station that kind of focuses on my area and they're big into like my high school sports team or something like that, then that might be a good play. Whatever you do in your advertising or marketing efforts, you guys got to promise me that you'll try to at least track it, right? So if it's a billboard, put something on there that's like, hey, mention this billboard for a deal. Or if it's radio, you hear it on XM radio all the time, hey, mention this promo code. If it's a direct mail piece, put a barcode on there that we can scan at the pay station, just so you know if it's helping. All right, guys, that's it for my presentation today. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this. I hope most of all that you found something useful out of this. And please feel free to call and reach out to us anytime. This is all we do all day, every day is marketing. But not only that, it's car wash marketing. It's so fun and so refreshing for us to laser focus on one thing and get really good at it. And there's nothing more we do, we love more than helping customers win. So give us a call anytime at SLAM, and like Anthony says, good luck and good washing.